Alright, in this project we're going to look at this data. This is student attendance data that I made up for these imaginary students. And this tells us which days students were tardy, which days students were absent, and which days students were present. At our school, this information is very important because we do report cards and we figure out how many credits students got based on how many days they attended. So wouldn't it be great if the computer just added up all this stuff for us? Well, guess what? It can. What we need to do is write a formula over here that looks at this range of values and counts up all the times a student was tardy, all the times a student was absent, and all the days that a student was present. So we'll need 3 columns: days present, days absent, and days tardy. And let's just color that so that it looks, so we know that that's different from this data over here. Alright, so how do we do that? Well, let's start out with days tardy. Remember, the way that we get a computer to do math for us is we type the equals sign. And we're going to use a function called the COUNTIF function. And then the parameters for the COUNTIF function are going to be inside parentheses. That's what the computer expects. And we need to give the COUNTIF function 2 pieces of information: the range of values that we want it to look at, and the criteria, like when do we want it to actually count stuff. If I told you I wanted you to count all the boys in a class, well, you would go around, and every time you were in front of a girl, you would just ignore her, and every time you were in front of a boy, you would count +1. And that's exactly what the COUNTIF function does. So we wanted to look at this range B2 to O2. B2 to O2. Then we're going to put a comma, and we're going to put the other piece of information. When do we want it to actually increase the count by 1? Well, we're doing days tardy, so every time that there's the letter T, we want the count to increase by 1. And because it's looking at text, we need to put that T in quotation marks. So, COUNTIF anything in this range is a T. And then when I hit enter, it gives me the number 8. And if we did it right, there should be 8 T's over here. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Perfect. Now we can copy this by pressing Control-C. And we come over here and paste it by pressing Control-V. Now we want it to look at the same range, B2 to O2, but now we want to change it to, we're looking for the letter A because we're looking at days absent. And uh-oh, look at this. Our range has changed. When we copied it and pasted it, it should be B2 to O2, but it's A2 to N2. Why is that? Well, that's because most of the time when you copy and paste something, you want the computer to do the same math, but you want it to use different values. This time, we don't want it to use different values. This time we want it to use, we don't want, this time we don't want it to use, we don't want to use it to different values. We always want it to look at this range right here. So what we can do is, let's delete this. Let's come back over here to this formula. Let's put a $ instead of B in front of B, and a $ in front of O. That's going to freeze the columns. So when we copy this and paste it, it's not going to change the columns. If we wanted to freeze the rows, we could do that too by putting a $ in front of the rows. $B, $2, $O, $2. And then no matter where we copied and pasted this formula, it would always be B2 to O2. But we don't want that today because we do want the rows to change. It's always going to be B through O, but when we go down to Diamond, we want to look at B3 to O3. And when we go down to Stephanie, we want to look at B5 to O5, etc., etc. So let's go up here and take those $ out. We just want $B2 to $O2. And now this is still 8, and when we copy it and paste it, look at that. It's still B2 to O2. And we're looking for days absent, so let's change this to A. And now it says Keyshawn was absent 4 days. Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's right. Now we can do that the same thing over here. Control copy, Control V. And for days present, we're looking for P. So the thing we're looking for, the thing we want to count, is P. But there's a problem. It says days present 2, and that's because there's only 2 P's here. 1, 2. But that's not right, is it? Every day that Keyshawn was tardy, he was present. He was just a little bit tardy. So what we really need is we need to add all of the P's to all of the T's. How can we do that? Oops, what happened? Control Z. Well, there's more than one way, but probably the easiest way right now is to just count all the P's and then add another COUNTIF. $B2, $O2. Uh-oh, what did I do? Nothing, I guess. And look for all the T's. And hopefully that will work. Days present 10. Well, let's see. Let's count all the P's and the T's. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Perfect. Now that we've taught the computer how to do the math, we just need to pull these down, and we should get different values using the same method. Let's look at Quran here. Days absent 2, 1, 2. Okay. Days tardy 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, that looks good. Now there's more than one way to do this. To see that, let me just copy this here. Control copy. Then I'm just going to paste the values This is just a copy of everything up above. You know, when you're doing this by yourself, Mr. Carter's not going to be there to tell you how to do it. So let's say you had a different idea. You are super smart and you realize the days present is just going to be the total number of days minus the days absent. Well, how many days are there? Well, we can just highlight this. And then if you look at the bottom down here, look, it counts it for you. There's 14 cells in that selection. So you could put equals 14 minus days absent is Q18 minus Q18. And you get 10. But it's not really good to use hard numbers like 14. We want that to be a flexible number. Remember, you know, if we look at this in a month, there's going to be a lot more than 14 days here. So instead of 14, let's put a flexible value in there. Let's just tell it we want it to count how many cells are out to the left. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to use the COUNTIF function again. We're going to say, hey, look at B2 to O2. And count the cells. Well, let's see what happens. I don't even know what's going to happen. What if I don't even put a second argument in there? What if I just, let's see, I'm going to delete this for now because I want to see what happens without subtracting Q18. Count if B2 to O2. Oh yeah, it doesn't like that. Because it doesn't know what it's looking for. Is it, am I looking for boys? Am I looking for girls? Am I looking for blue eyes or brown eyes? Am I looking for A's? Am I looking for P's? What do you want me to count? Well, we want it to count everything, right? We want it to count everything that is not an empty cell. And there's a special code for that. It is quotation marks and then a less than sign and then a greater than sign and then quotation marks again. This is the special sign for anything that is not an empty cell. So look at B2 through O2 and count everything that's not an empty cell. And these are all full, so it should count everything. And when I hit enter, it should say 14. And it does. And now you could say minus Q18, enter, and you should get 10. Now we've replaced all of those formulas with the new style formula, and we get the same values: 10, 11, 8, 8, 10, 11, 8, 8, 10, 7, 13, 7, 10, 7, 13, 7, etc. One other thing. I want to put a border around this just to make it look nice. Oh, let's put a legend in here. We've got all these symbols. T, A, T, P. Nobody knows what those mean. Maybe they could figure it out. But it would be better if we could put a legend in there. So, let's insert a drawing. And draw a little shape. It can be any color you want. Actually, we don't need a text box. We should be able to type right in here. So A, P, present, A is absent, T equals tardy. Save and close. And the last thing I see, when we copied this data down here, look at this. 43101. This is where our date is supposed to be. Why does it say 43101, 43102, etc.? Well, that's because computers look at dates differently than we do. And these are dates. They're just the way that a computer thinks of them. We can change that by going up to by highlighting them and then selecting format number date. All right, I think that's it. Good luck.